reasons. It's not formulated for the application, and it plain just doesn't work. Again, I'm showing how you can pull the bed plate and crank with the pistons and rods in place. While you can lift these manually, I prefer to use the crane and winch combination so I can control the movement, and if something slips in my hands, nothing crashes down. I'll also show again the paper towels I use to minimize lint. The Santara brand I specifically use during assembly. The Ford bearings come individually wrapped, which I prefer, not like the Clevite bearings. With this standard size crankshaft, I was able to buy OE International Ford bearings. It's what I wanted for the 10 under crankshaft, but Ford wasn't selling them at the time. And Ford's rebuilder did not use OE bearings as they say they do. They were Clevite. So despite recently assembled and no in-service time, I still wipe everything clean. I install the boxed matching shells to the respective locations. I also confirm the sizing is correct when torqued down. This is true also for the main bearings. Cleaned, installed, the bed plate torqued to spec, and the size is confirmed. I did not have to do any massaging with any of the bearings, but for my sanity, I needed to check. As before, I recheck that all the bearing shells are correctly located, not dislodged. I apply assembly lube, which the Ford and International manuals don't have you do. I do also add motor oil, which is what the manuals say to do. I had transferred my locating marks from this motor's original crank to this replacement crank. I aligned the crank directly over the bearings so I don't have to maneuver it too much. Again, I use my marks as well as the indicators the factory provided for alignment. With several fasteners installed at the ends, I can easily rotate the crank if I need to. The 5/16 poly rods and 3/8 hose spacers guide the connecting rods into alignment, as I showed in the other video if you haven't seen it. I think there is more detail in that video. You can use a pendulum to confirm your cam and crank alignment with the factory marks. With the crank settled, I recheck the bearing shells to make sure they remained in place. The connecting rod caps are installed with hand torque for now. And I show how to confirm the caps are correctly matched. I could have reused the gaskets, but instead replaced them with this do-over. If they leaked, I would have kicked myself for not replacing these inexpensive materials. I used a wallpaper seam tool for seating the gaskets. The service manuals show only placing the RTV at the junctures when the front and rear covers or the HPOP cover are about to be installed. Secondary applications of RTVs don't adhere well to each other. Skinning the O-ring gaskets, I'm hoping it won't be an issue. So this time I'm using TA31, since I know it will cure and it has a tenacious hold and no ill effects to the oil. All the main saddle bolts again are sequenced and torqued in step. The outer bed plate bolts are also torqued to spec, and then the connecting rod bolts. The secondary pan or windage tray is next. Its gasket design depends on the model year, but you get both gaskets in the kits. If you made it this far, thanks for watching.